Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching Tesla Time News.
Episode 72
on Now You Know. Just a few months ago, Ford announced that they would be spending $4.5 billion on electrification research.
Okay.
And just the other day at the Detroit Auto Show, Bill Ford, who's the chairman, said that they will be spending $11 billion on R&D for EV.
That is a lot more than they were originally saying.
Yes, they cleared house basically, and it's just like a lot of companies we've been reporting on lately, like Toyota, it seems like they've had a
wake-up
aha
call
moment, and they go, wow, we need to spend more money on EVs because we're going to fall behind. So now they're planning on having 40 hybrids and fully electric vehicle models, 16 of which will be fully electric by 2020.
Wow. That is a huge change from what we were seeing from Ford like a year ago.
Yes.
So, I wonder what changed their mind. Do you think they finally got a ride in the Model 3 and said, oh crap, we cannot keep selling Ford Focuses and Fusions. It's time to make the change.
I think you're right. This is a quote from Chairman Ford. We're all in on this, and we're taking our mainstream vehicles, our most iconic vehicles, and we're electrifying them. If we want to be successful with electrification, we have to do it with vehicles that are already popular. And this is coming from Bill Ford, who's the chairman and whose grandfather started the company. We are all in on electric vehicles.
That is exciting, and I am very happy to hear it. I think that this is something that we knew needed to happen for a very long time.
And they're finally listening.
Maybe
they're subscribing to the show.
No, they're not.
Do you remember a few months ago we interviewed Nick Goggerty, who was one of the co-founders of SolarCoin?
Yes, so it's like a cryptocurrency that is generated from solar generation.
Right, you get one solar coin for every megawatt hour of solar that you produce. And so I've got solar on our roof, and so we actually have some SolarCoin now because we get them from the SolarCoin organization.
Cool.
And a lot of people commented on that episode that we did, that's down below is the link, and they said, this sounds kind of weird, sounds like a scam, how can you just make money out of nothing, how does cryptocurrency work? And I get it, it's hard for me to comprehend how a cryptocurrency can work.
Okay. But
this story is another story that's showing that cryptocurrency is a real thing. So recently, SolarAid, which is a community surrounding SolarCoin, got people in the SolarCoin organization to donate some of their SolarCoin, like I did, and they raised £10,000 for SolarAid over Christmas. And what this does is it provides cheap solar lighting for people in Africa. So they got 6,804 solar coins from people who donated, and then they sold them for money, for pounds, British pounds, and they got £10,000, which they then were able to buy all these great lights. Check these out. These are so that people can, study at night, and because at night, if there's no grid, you have no light unless you burn something. Yeah. So just wanted to point out that this is an amazing thing. It actually works. It helps to get people to put solar on their roof.
Cool.
So if you're interested, check out the link below to SolarCoin. You can also check out our interview with the founder.
Hey, if you're if you have solar on your roof, you can just start earning SolarCoin.
That's right. It's just free money, basically.
It's crazy.
Yeah. What is this?
So this is the world's biggest air purifier. So you may have seen some of those, like I have one in my house, right? It just sort of blows clean air.
Oh, blows like air through a filter.
Sucks in dirty air, blows out clean air, yeah.
This one's ginormous. How big is this?
This is over 100 meters tall, which is 328 feet, and it is in northern China. Polluted air is sucked into these greenhouses where, using sort of the greenhouse effect, the air is heated up and it then is passed up through this tower, which is full of filters.
Oh, and so what are they trying to filter out?
So they are trying to filter out PM 2.5 particles.
What's that again?
PM 2.5 particles are small particles in the air, so small that you can only see them with an electron scanning microscope, 2.5 being 2.5 microns. So these get trapped in your lungs and they do not come out and they kill you.
Oh, so does this work? I mean, does it filter out enough of it?
So the tower covers about a 10 square kilometer area and reduces the PM 2.5 particles by about 15%. This is just a small scale prototype. The full scale would be 500 meters tall and cover around 30 square kilometers.
Now, this sounds really expensive. I mean, why are they doing this?
China has a really, really terrible air pollution problem. I mean, it is literally killing people at a rate that has basically just never been seen before. It's horrific, and people are absolutely up in arms about it, and rightfully so. And this is one way that you can hopefully begin to reverse the damaging effects of burning coal and driving cars.
So, I mean, this is a sign that they are very serious about renewable energy, about electric cars, because if they're putting all this resource into filtering the air after they've polluted it, they understand that they have to keep it clean in the first place.
Right, and we've been seeing that with the large-scale wind and solar projects that they've been putting up all throughout China. So do you remember the Fiat, Chrysler, Ferrari CEO guy?
But yeah, Sergio Marchionne?
Yes.
He had a great quote, right? We're not betting the bank on going fully electric in the next decade. It won't happen.
Right. Well, we have a new quote from him that came out a bit more recently.
Okay.
Pretty interesting. He said, "If there is an electric supercar to be built, then Ferrari will be the first. People are amazed at what Tesla did with a supercar. I'm not trying to minimize what Elon did, but I think it's doable by all of us." So,
Whoa, slow down there.
So it sounds like he is betting the bank on electric.
Okay, but does that mean either A, his new supercar for Ferrari will come into production before the next generation Roadster from Tesla, or B, that CEO Marchionne is an idiot because the next generation Tesla Roadster is an electric supercar?
Right. I
mean,
don't.
Does he not
know.
get it that the Roadster is a supercar?
It is a supercar. I mean, 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds, finishing the quarter mile in less than 8.9 with a top speed of somewhere above 250 miles an hour. I'm sorry, that is a hypercar. I mean, that is insane. There's simply no way that you can start off with a non-fully electric car company. You've only been building, high-performance hybrids at this point. LaFerrari, yes, it has a battery and it has an electric motor, but it also has a huge gas engine in it. That's the only reason that it can go fast. I mean, good luck.
I think they're having trouble with the brand. That might explain why they're going to be debuting their first ever SUV, which should be coming out in 2019 or 2020. I mean, putting a Ferrari brand on an SUV, I think, is a huge mistake.
I think so too. And Porsche did the same thing with the Cayman. I mean, it's really not within their wheelhouse to be putting out SUVs. And do I think that Ferrari could come out with a pretty sporty electric supercar? Sure, I think they could do it. Do I think they could do it before Tesla comes out with the Roadster? No. I don't think so in the slightest.
I think we would have seen it already.
Yeah, I mean, you can say whatever you want, but if you don't have a working prototype that you can show off, then you're not even in the race as far as I'm concerned.
So I know we've been talking about the Tesla Australia battery pretty much every episode lately, but there's a new amazing thing that just happened with this battery.
All right, tell me what it is.
So take a look at this graph. It shows the Hornsdale Power Reserve on January 12th. So this is where they installed that battery. You remember the big 100 megawatt battery. And the generation is in blue, the load is in red.
So when it's charging the battery, it's in red, and when it's getting power, when it's pushing power out, it's in blue.
Got it. That's right.
Okay.
The black line there is the price of electricity. So for most of the day, there's a small price to electricity, but then look what happens at around noon till about 4 p.m.
Wow, it goes below zero.
And it goes way down, right?
Yeah.
So for about 215 minutes, there's a negative price of electricity. So Tesla-built battery was in load charging mode while electricity was negatively priced for at least 194 minutes.
So wait, what happened? So normally you're paying for your electricity. I have a light bulb on, it uses 60 watts, and then in an hour it's used 60 watt hours. But now if I'm getting paid negative money, then I'm getting money when I use energy.
What happened here was during the period that the battery was accepting power at rates between 15 and 26 megawatts, the price of electricity went negative to $790 per megawatt hour.
Wow.
Which means that the battery was being paid to take energy.
Really? So to use the energy, to absorb that energy,
absorb
it
it?
was being paid.
Yes. So roughly during the 4-hour period, the battery system absorbed more than 66 megawatt hours of energy, which would be equal to about $70,000 in revenue.
So then it's full of energy that it can then give out.
It doesn't give it, it sells it.
So it'll sell it now when the price goes back up?
Yeah, so it was being paid to store it,
Yeah.
and then it was being paid to sell it.
Wow, that is super cool. So that means that this isn't just like a battery, it's a huge moneymaker.
Yeah, this isn't just like a fun story. If you are actually an investor in energy, something like this is going to make you wake up and go, wait a minute, I need to buy some batteries and do the same thing.
So when the grid is producing too much energy, it needs to, and it does this with other things.
Right. So normally when the grid is producing too much energy, they automatically turn on things like big air conditioners and things on big buildings. A lot of times big buildings will just hand over control to the grid so that you can control when it turns on and off, so that when they've got excess power, boom, they turn on your air conditioner.
Interesting.
But the battery can react faster than that. The battery can react with under a second. So when all that power needs to be dumped, the battery can just go, hey, over here, I'll take it.
Yep.
And
then get paid.
And get paid.
And then it's full of energy. And then when the grid is no longer producing as much energy as it was before, it can sell it back to the
Right,
grid.
because look at these little spikes here. Even while it was getting paid to take energy, there's a couple blue spikes where it was selling it again. And it can do that on and off because it's a battery.
Wow.
Whereas a peaker plant has to take, over half an hour to fire up.
Right. That's amazing.
So I just thought, that's another reason why battery technology is so big right now. Did you see this tweet from the California Highway Patrol, Jess?
Yes. So there was a drunk Tesla driver. He was passed out behind the wheel.
Yeah, they had to wake him up.
Oh my goodness. So he said he was in autopilot.
Yep.
And it looks like the car realized that he was down for the count and slowed safely down and stopped.
It stopped in the middle lane of the Bay Bridge in San Francisco.
Wow.
And according to authorities, the driver told them the car was in autopilot when he passed out, and it must have stopped the car safely when the driver didn't respond to warnings about holding the wheel. So you know how autopilot works. First you get some visual warnings, then you get some audible warnings, and if you don't respond, the car just slows down and comes to a stop.
Right.
And so CHP tested the driver and found that his blood alcohol level to be over 2 times the legal limit, which in California would be 2 times 0.08, so 0.16.
Wow,
That's pretty drunk.
Pretty drunk.
Now, the reason we're reporting this is the major media outlets are reporting this in a different way. They're saying things like, oh, well, that means that if you drive a Tesla, you can drive drunk. No. You should never drive drunk. Anyone with half a brain would know never to get into a car and get behind the wheel when they're drunk.
Right.
But people do that, right?
Yes.
According to the CDC in 2015, 10,265 people died in alcohol-related driving crashes, which accounted for nearly 1/3 of all traffic-related deaths in the United States.
Right.
That's just in 1 year.
Now, this guy is not going to be part of that number.
That's right, and no one that he would have hit. So imagine that you pass out behind the wheel. Your car is going to hit something, and you're either going to die or get hurt, or you're going to hurt someone else or kill them.
Right.
That didn't happen.
Best case scenario is that you hit a guardrail and slow down.
Right.
But you've still done tremendous damage to your car and public property.
Right, so autopilot did what it should. The driver was incapacitated. It stopped. Nobody got hurt.
And it slows down. It doesn't just sort of screech to a halt. It first of all tries to wake him up.
Right.
That didn't work.
Yep.
And then it just slowed down. Everyone on the highway behind him was probably like, what is going on? But they slowed down. They didn't smash into the back of him.
Right.
And he was completely fine.
Jesse and I have tested this on the highway. That's what happens.
So nobody died.
Yep.
And he was arrested.
Right.
Exactly everything that you could have possibly hoped to have happened.
Yep.
Besides him not getting in the car.
Right.
Being completely trashed.
That's autopilot.
Speaking of Tesla drivers doing questionable things while driving their cars.
What is this?
This is the orange trick.
Wait, why are we seeing an orange on someone's steering wheel?
So if you are driving an autopilot in a Tesla, every once in a while it will ask you to put your hands on the wheel.
Right.
To make sure that you're awake. Just like the
Because
drunk
remember,
guy.
you're supposed to be driving with your hands on the wheel.
Yes. So this orange trick sort of gets around that. You can put an orange or some small mass offset on the wheel, and it just sort of gives a little bit of tension to the wheel because the wheel wants to be going the way that it's driving, and this orange prevents that.
Now, I'm all for science and I'm all for figuring out how the car works and things like that. But what I don't like about this video is it seems like this person is implying that this is something you should do if you're driving on long trips and you don't want to have to keep your hands on the wheel. That seems like you're inviting a problem.
Yes.
And what I like about Tesla is this. There's many car manufacturers that have some form of cruise control. And if you find a way to break it, like this orange trick, they would have to fix the problem and come up with a brand new car next year with that solved problem.
Right.
Tesla could just change its software, and with the software update could fix this orange trick.
Right.
I don't know exactly how. Maybe they'd make it so you'd have to, wiggle the wheel more or something like that, but they could make it so that this orange trick won't work anymore, which I hope they're working on right now.
Yeah. I mean, let's be real. If you have an orange sitting on your dashboard, you're not going to be paying attention. You're more likely to fall asleep or do something else, and it's not going to be able to safely stop the car like we saw with the drunk guy in San Francisco. Another thing is, if the car needs to make some kind of fast movement, the orange's inertia will sort of slow down the car's movement as if you had put your hands on the wheel and were trying to steer it otherwise. That pops you out of autopilot, and now you're suddenly just any other car on the highway with no one at the steering wheel. Or someone who stuck a stupid orange in the middle of the steering wheel.
But I like your point before that, which is that if you put that orange in there and then something happens to you, you fall asleep or you get incapacitated somehow or you have a coughing fit, the car's not going to know that, and so it's not going to slow down and stop. It's going to think you're still okay.
Right. And autopilot is not perfect, so it's not like you're just going to keep driving. At a certain point, something is going to happen. Either it's going to be confused, there's going to be some road work, and the lines are going to change. You need to be aware when you're driving the car in autopilot.
It's designed to help a human driver at level 2. It is not designed to replace them. Time for Model 3 news. All right, so the VINs are now in the 8,000s. What are the VINs?
The VINs are this gang, and everyone's named Vinny.
Once you're a VIN, you're a VIN.
VINs are the vehicle identification numbers, and we're talking specifically about the Model 3s. So there are over 8,000 Model 3s in the world, which is exciting.
Awesome.
The 8th digit, according to the Model 3 decoder, means the type of powertrain, and a number 2 means dual motor.
Oh, wait, so this long digit here that we're seeing, that's your VIN, and so they mean something. It's not just like a sequential number. The different letters and numbers tell you where it was made, who the manufacturer is, and that 2 in the 8th digit means that it's a dual motor. So why do we care?
That means that some all-wheel drive Model 3s have been built, around 17 to be exact, and they're probably being tested right now.
Oh, so they've actually made them and they're testing them. That's great. Yeah, because Tesla says the dual motor all-wheel drive and the smaller 50 kilowatt hour battery pack are coming in the spring of 2018.
Hey, that's just around the corner.
It certainly is. And the all-wheel drive option on the S was a $5,000 option. That's before all S's and X's became all-wheel drive. So we're thinking that the all-wheel drive option in the 3 shouldn't cost any more than that.
Yep.
I'd love to see some comments below about what you think it's going to cost for the all-wheel drive option on the Model 3 and what you'd be willing to pay for it.
And when you're going to buy it. So we've all seen by now the Model 3's Aero Wheels.
Yep.
These are the base wheels that come with the Model 3, and they're sort of these a lot more covered than you're used to seeing on cars. And so Robert Palin, who's held many positions at Tesla's aerodynamics team since 2009, has explained why these wheels are important when they were designing the Model 3.
I was the head of Aero at Tesla for the Model S, X, and 3, and I can confirm that wheel design and size can be the biggest influence of all on the aero efficiency of a road car. The aero, design, and chassis teams put a huge amount of effort into these wheels, and they really do work. With casting, there's a minimum thickness of 10 to 12 millimeters at the perimeter, making wheels like this obscenely heavy. With the cap approach, they're the lightest wheel design Tesla has ever done, and with very low rotational inertia. A lot of effort went into the integration of the cap so that it sits flush at the rim and not on the outside of it, as on all the other wheel caps you'll see. Having multi-part and multi-material wheels is the best way to satisfy multiple optimization goals. The thought with these wheels was that having the latest tech on the latest car would be most appropriate than more traditional rims. The aero benefit increases very strongly with speed, as the power requirement to overcome aero resistance increases with the cube of speed, i.e., if you go twice as fast, you use 8 times the power. That said, aero is a small percentage at city speeds, where mass and rolling resistance dominate. The two-part design of these Aero wheels allow the underlying rim to be super light, which will also help in the lower speed stuff.
So there's a lot of science going on there, but let's just sort of jump right into it. First of all, they're going to be lighter.
Yep.
Because they're using this cap approach, which is why they've gone with the cap approach. I mean, these are not normal hubcaps because the wheels underneath are not just your standard steelies. These are specifically engineered wheels for the Model 3, and then the cap sits inside that wheel. And so it's completely flush. It doesn't stick out like normal hubcaps, which is pretty smart. And then you have this nice smooth outside surface, so not a lot of air gets in there and gets, causes drag. And he talked a lot about the wheels having very low rotational inertia.
What is that?
So if something is rolling or spinning and you have weight on the outside, it's going to have a lot more inertia than if the weight is on the inside.
Oh.
And that means that you're able to speed up the wheels and slow them down using less energy and a lot faster.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's one of the reasons why they think that the Aero wheels are going to increase efficiency by about 10%.
Wow.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah, that kind of makes me rethink getting the 19-inch wheels.
I told you they were the wrong choice.
What is this?
So this is the BMW's iNext, which they showed off at CES this past month.
But the iNext is not going to be out for the next four years.
Yes. So it's kind of a strange thing, but this is like their Model S, Model 3 killer. It's going to have...
it's going to kill the Model 3?
Apparently, it's going to have over a 430-some mile range. But yeah, it's going to be coming out in 4 years, in 2021.
Why do car manufacturers keep thinking that this big range number is so sexy and going to sell the car?
I think people think that numbers are what influence people's decisions.
Here's the thing. Until you actually drive that car and get into your first day of driving, and then you realize, okay, you've depleted the 435 miles of battery and you need to recharge, and you need to do it pretty quickly, you will then realize you made the wrong choice.
Yeah, I completely agree. And that's why, a Bolt and a Model 3 are not even close in the same category of car. Also, there's just the look of this car. I mean, yes, it's futuristic and it's sleek and the wheels, interestingly, we've talked about this before. It's
just concept.
It's just concept car. I mean, there's no way that this car is going to look anything like the iNext. I mean, it's not going to be called the iNext. They're going to call it just, some other name, some i4. It's going to be dumb.
It's time for the lightning round.
Here we go. Okay, so...
Are these new wheels for the Model S?
Yes. So these are brand new 21-inch wheels that you can get for the Model S. It will cost you $4,500 to upgrade from the standard 19-inch wheels.
They look a lot like the Model 3 19-inch wheels.
Yeah, they do look a lot like that. I wonder if this is sort of moving in that direction or what. I mean, they've gone through a lot of different Model S wheels. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Dominion Coal closed 8 coal plants.
Dominion Energy in Virginia closed 8 coal plants, and they're converting them to cold reserve storage. What is cold reserve storage? Are they going to keep ice cream in there?
I wish. No, they're basically just going to shut them down, keep the permits for them, just sort of have just a skeleton crew just walking around, I guess. They're just not going to be running them.
Just in case they need to reopen them?
Just in case they, laws change and they're going to decide to reopen them. Basically, the whole reason that they have to do this is because of economics and Virginia, which is considering policies that would mandate a 3% annual reduction in carbon dioxide emissions over the next 10 years, which is basically going to legally shut down these plants.
Yeah, I mean, this is why it's so important for you to contact your representatives in government and tell them to enact environmental legislation.
Right.
Because even a small reduction in carbon dioxide means that coal has to be taken out of the mix.
Right. And, I mean, these plants have been open since the 20s and 30s. Like, these are
it's
old
time for them to go.
Power plants.
This looks pretty cool, Jesse.
This is a semi in the wild.
Going really fast.
Yeah, I mean, look at that acceleration.
Now, I want to talk about, we're getting a semi, we're on the list, and we've been giving some thought lately to what we'd like to put in the trailer.
Yes.
I just came up with a great idea the other night.
Okay.
This idea is for a mobile pop-up jazz club.
So you just sort of pull into a parking lot somewhere and boom, it's a jazz club?
Yeah, come on down to the jazz club.
Wow.
You know what gave me this idea?
What?
I was hanging out with these two guys. Do these guys look familiar?
Oh, yeah, these are two of our Patreons, and they did a Supercharger review for us.
That's right. Yeah, these are Peter and Will Anderson. They are twins that are amazing, accomplished musicians. They are saxophonists, clarinetists, flautists. I just went and saw them at a show the other night. They were, I think if you looked up the word delightful in the dictionary, you would find Peter and Will Anderson.
Wow.
I'm in the music industry. I've been in the music industry for 30 years, right? So I think you can trust me when I say this. Peter and Will Anderson are two of the most talented and enjoyable jazz musicians you will ever have the pleasure of experiencing.
Wow.
They just began their East Coast tour. They're heading south over the next few weeks, and then they'll be playing shows all across the country. So if you're on their route, I urge you to go see them perform. Their website with all their tour information is in the show notes below. I hope they'll be sending us some more Supercharger reviews from their tour. You guys have to check them out. I guarantee you'll have a wonderful night. So it's time for our video contributor story, and we were lucky enough to have Nick Pachunka go to CES and cover the Electrica Mechanica Solo.
More and more, we are seeing electric car startups emerging, especially like here at CES, the Consumer Electronics Show. But the Electra Mechanica Solo is unique in many ways. Well, for starters, this company is aiming to disrupt the electric car market in general by introducing an affordable electric car. This three-wheeled electric vehicle seats one person. Yes, you heard me right, this car only holds a single individual. The Solo's design choice is mainly because of its purpose. This EV is made for errands like short trips to the store or the gym if, you're into that kind of thing. But when I was at the booth, Electra Mechanica mentioned that in North America, 83% of urban car trips are made within a 19-mile radius. So that makes the 16 kilowatt-hour, 100-mile range battery seem absolutely manageable. Not to mention that dual charging allows 100% recharge in 3 hours on a 220 volt or 6 hours on a 110 volt charge. The battery is located on both sides of the floor for those that are curious. And as far as the performance of this vehicle, the 0 to 60 in 8 seconds acceleration definitely isn't up to par with the next gen Tesla Roadster, but for sure isn't slow by any means. In addition, Electra Mechanica says that the Solo has a top speed of 137 miles per hour, but is software limited to 82 miles per hour. For me, I kinda think this is more likely for safety reasons, but we'll see. Cool features include the LCD instrument cluster, remote keyless entry, optional air conditioning, and a rear backup camera. Also, to my surprise, for such a small vehicle, this thing actually has a trunk and a frunk, with an acceptable amount of storage. Lastly, what I think is the most important feature of this car is the price. Currently, this car's MSRP is at $15,000 USD, a very competitive price point if you ask me. That just goes to show why they have 20,000 reservations. The Electra Mechanica Solo is definitely not made to be the only car you own. It's not made to be the end-all be-all, but rather a daily commuter to work, or if you'd like to run a few errands. Also, before I sign off, I want to give a huge thanks to Zach and Jesse, along with the whole team at Now You Know, because I absolutely love what you guys are doing, propelling the world into a cleaner and more electric future.
Wow, I want to plug his YouTube channel. Nick has a fantastic YouTube channel that talks about all kinds of tech. He vlogs. Obviously, he's good at telling a story. Thank you so much, Nick, for doing this. I hope we see more of your stories.
All right, it is time now for the Patreon bonus story. If you want to check it out, you can head over to patreon.com. In order to see this, all you have to do is support us for as little as $1 a month, and we usually come out with at least 4 Patreon bonus stories per month, which means that you are getting a Patreon bonus story for a quarter.
Yep, and there's a lot of...
Not much costs a quarter these days.
Not much does.
There's just about gumballs, and...
Which don't last, and they don't make you smarter.
What, like screws? Nails.
Well, those are important.
Yes, but they don't make you any smarter. We're going to go do the Patreon bonus story. We'll be right back. All right, so we are back from our Patreon bonus story, and I want to give a super big thank you to some of our wonderful Patreon patrons who support us at over $5 a month. George Brown.
Loretta Legore.
Thanks, Grandma. David Uferflidge.
Matthias Just.
Ryan Watson.
Maxat.
Jasper Nunes.
Marcus Oyen.
Thank you so much We could not do this show without our wonderful Patreon supporters. Literally just couldn't keep the lights on, couldn't keep the cameras rolling, couldn't keep buying SD cards that keep getting fried in our cameras. I mean, there's just no way that we could continue to do this without the wonderful support of our Patreons. I urge you to go over to patreon.com. We have 2 new perks for our Patreon supporters, that being the poll and the post. These are at the $2 and $4 levels. So if you want to participate in some of our polls and maybe comment on some of our posts, then you can head over to Patreon and go check that out. Here is what happened this week. We asked, what do you think happened to Zuma? And about 95 people said that they thought that Zuma was fine and orbiting the Earth, and around 20 or so said that it had crashed into the Indian Ocean, as we've heard on the news. Mark Petrillo said, "It's fine and operating as planned, as evidenced by the successful destruction of the ballistic missile headed towards Hawaii a few days ago." So I don't think he was being serious, but that is pretty funny.
So we have a new Supercharger page on our website. You can now see destination chargers and Superchargers, and I think we're the only website in the world that has the destination chargers and the Superchargers with video reviews.
Yes.
You can submit yours there. It'll go up right away for everyone to enjoy. It's real easy to do, so go check it out now. I think you're really going to enjoy it.
So if you live near a Supercharger, or if you are the owner of a destination charger, go feel free to show it off, because now, anyone on Earth who has this link can go check it out.
So every week we love to see Supercharger reviews from our friends around the world. We picked a few this week to show you. Here they are.
This is Johnny from Used Tesla Channel. I'm here in Concord, Ontario. We have the new Tesla Superchargers open. It's currently 3:30 in the morning, minus 5 degrees and snowing. This is here at Vaughan Mills Shopping Center. There's lots of amenities, lots of places to eat, Boston pizza, Thai cuisine, along with the food court in the mall right there with shopping. So I'd overall rate this probably a 9 out of 10.
All right, so here we are outside at the Florence Supercharger. There's a number of stores that you can look up on Google to see what's out here, but plenty of stuff to eat. Everything is essentially in walking distance. One thing I will point out is the Chuck E. Cheese's that is across the street. If you have little ones, would be a fun place for them to play if you have a longer charging time. And that's all we got from the Florence Supercharger.
Hi guys, I'm from Linwood State, Washington, and we have 10 charging stations for Tesla supercharging, and as you see they just built it but not open yet, but I'm assuming it will be soon. And we have a big Fred Meyer store, and it's a great place to go and drink some coffee, because we have some like a huge parking and with stores around there, and it will be great spot to charge your supercar, Tesla car. Bye guys.
Hey, Zach and Jesse, I'm Antonio, and we're at the Petaluma Superchargers. It is placed in an outdoor mall where there's a Dick's, TJ Maxx, Buffalo Wings, Target, a few other stores at a walking distance. It's the only one here in Marin, in the Bay Area nearby, and I would rate it a solid 8 out of 10 for its convenience and the amount of stalls.
All right, so let's talk about some of the Superchargers that are open in the world.
The 8 stall in Clinton Corners, New York.
The 16 stall in Linwood, Washington.
Number 41 in Canada is the 12 stall in Castleman, Ontario.
And number 464 in the USA, number 1,142 in the world, the 10 stall in Livonia, Michigan. I want to mention, to use our referral code, you only have
like a week or something.
Days left to order your Model S or Model X with free supercharging for life. You will help us earn a European Roadster and help everyone in Europe be able to enjoy the Roadster in their home countries. They don't have to fly out here to the United States to enjoy that. So
right, and so if you're even in the United States, we will come visit you in the Roadster. So whether you're in Europe or the United States, use our referral code. We will come visit you in the Roadster when it comes out.
All right, so quick, this is your last chance There is no putting this off. Time to have the serious discussion with your significant other, and let's do it.
Thank you to Fred and Seth from Electrek. They are responsible for a lot of the news that we get on this show. You guys should go over there and check them out during the week. A great source of news. I want to mention this past video, Jesse. Remember this one?
Yes, we did this one about a year ago. This was us towing a trailer with the Model X. So for those of you who are new Tesla owners, maybe you have a Model X with towing capabilities and you want to put it to the test, this was sort of an easy beginner's try at towing with the Model X. So you can go check that out in the links down below. All right, thank you so much for
Save the
watching.
planet.
Now you know.